Gaming the Systems here has a wonderful video. Please subscribe to him. These are the top 10 worst NES games of all
Here are
time.
the top 10 worst
Apparently.
NES games, according to fans of the
Let's have a
NES. Number 10 is Back to the Future. Most of this game plays like an overhead version of Paperboy. You run and skateboard upward while collecting clocks that keep the people in the photo at the bottom of the screen from fading. Many elements come together to make this game bad, such as the same visuals appearing over and over again, and how easy and unenjoyable it is to run into various obstacles.
You know what? I haven't played this game. I have seen it on the AVG, and I don't know if this got released in Australia. If it has, please let me know. Now, I'm not going to stray too far off the course, but the only Back to the Future game I played growing up in Australia was Back to the Future 2. And I was thinking it'd be the most awesome thing ever, because the first level is when you're in the future on a hoverboard and stuff. You think it sounds like fun. I can promise you it isn't. It's a shame. There was like a handful of these games, and the only ever good Back to the Future game I ever tried was actually that Telltale one, which was like, yeah, an unofficial sequel. So, yeah, this
All
one
the
looks
flaws
terrible,
are made
though.
even worse by
I
the
don't know anyone that
painful
likes
and unstoppable music. Number 9 is Friday the 13th. You play as one of 6 camp counselors walking around finding items, and you have to prevent the camp's children and other counselors from dying, and you have to kill Jason whenever you encounter him.
I feel like this game's really polarizing. Again, wasn't released in Australia. I don't like the game personally myself. I don't get it. But there's people that swear by this. Like my friend 8-Bit Steve, he's got the book The Easy Way, where he teaches people how to play NES games easily. Shout out to 8-Bit Steve. He absolutely crushes this game, and he swears by it. He says it's enjoyable, it's just misunderstood. So one half of people absolutely hate this, and the other half say, oh, it's a great game, it's just misunderstood. At the end of the day, Friday the 13th is a timeless horror movie. People love the franchise, and either the game really is fun and it's misunderstood, or people just don't want to hate it because it's such a popular franchise. Let you guys be the judge.
Inside buildings, there are some 3D environments to navigate, but overall, the graphics are rudimentary. The main flaw here is that the game just isn't approachable. It's not apparent what you need to be doing, and going the proper direction using the map is a lot more complicated than it needs to be. People do report that once you research on how to play this game, the experience improves quite a bit.
I have noticed this about Friday the 13th. You think you're going one way, either in an upwards path or a sidewards path, and then all of a sudden you look at the map and you've gone nowhere near where you're actually trying to go. So it really is like a garden maze, a forest maze. You just never know which way is what, up, down, literally.
I wanted to take a moment to explain how I came up with this list. I went to various places on the internet like YouTube, Facebook, fan sites, Reddit, and I captured the names of NES games that people were describing as bad. Then I put it all together, did some weighting and some analysis, and I came up with this list that you're seeing today. Now, I will say that the shadow of the angry video game nerd looms large over any discussion of bad games. I did my best to find people who actually had played the games and were not just repeating something they heard in a nerd episode.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. Like, you don't actually even have to necessarily agree with his list, this list, or any list that you're given, but at least being open to a discussion, I guess you could say some critical thought, that's the main thing, you know what I mean? No one's opinions are going to be the same. When it comes to gaming, titles, good or bad, are always very, very varied. But at least being able to have a discussion and to be able to say why you like something or don't like something without someone jumping down your throat like some dirty neckbeard in his basement, is a very important thing.
But there's no magical button that completely removes his influence. Besides, his criticisms of these games seem to be valid, in my opinion. Number 8 is Super Pitfall.
Yeah.
This is not how you transition a beloved franchise onto a new system. It has bad music, bad collision detection, awkward controls, cryptic secrets that the average person isn't going to be able to figure out.
Yeah, it was so annoying that, like, you'd take a ladder or something, go down the ladder and just fall straight into, like, a spike pit or something and dead. And so it seems like it's almost like Cat Mario with some areas of this game in a way. You're not going to learn where to go or what to do unless you've learned the hard way via trial by error. It's really, really, really frustrating. And I don't know where they went so wrong with this. The first original Pitfall was such an amazing game, and even the sequel on Atari, even though they tried to do too much stuff, was still relatively fun to play. This one here is an absolute dumpster fire. Thankfully, once we went to 16-bit, PlayStation and even PlayStation 2, Xbox, I thought the games were pretty satisfactory, if not fun after that. But yeah, I don't know what the hell happened with this one.
And there's an unfairness to how it places enemies and obstacles. To top it off, they somehow managed to lose the spirit of the initial two games.
They definitely did.
Instead of an adventurer running around a lush green jungle, you get a stocky blue fellow who carries a gun. So yeah.
This is a pretty fair pick. I can't really argue with this one.
Number 7 is Karate Champ. Old fighting games are typically hard to come back to, but there's some you shouldn't come back to at all. You get 30 seconds to score a hit on the opponent. If you or them land a hit, it resets and you go about another round for 30 seconds. It's a simple concept, but it feels like an incoherent mess when you actually play it.
Yeah, look, this game, the NES port, is pretty dreadful. I've tried to get into it. I can't. It's been a long time, but if I'm not mistaken, the original Data East arcade cabinet kind of had an intuitive dual joystick system, if I'm not mistaken. So to translate that onto an NES control pad, yeah, it just wasn't gonna work. They could have probably maybe limited some of the moves and basically counteracted it that way, but they didn't. And yeah, it was just clunky, unresponsive, messy. Do I think this is in the top 10 worst NES games of all time? Possibly, but there are so many bad ones that I'm not 100% certain.
Way too easy to get turned around facing the wrong way, which looks ridiculous, and it feels ridiculous.
It is pretty funny.
Obviously, the sound effects and graphics are minimal. It's just hard to find a reason to play this game.
I can't argue. He's right.
Number 6 is Ghostbusters. Of all the things a developer could do with the Ghostbusters license, it's hard to imagine a worse way to make use of it. You slowly move the Ghostbusters icon around this map screen, using it to go to haunted buildings to capture ghosts. But before you get to those buildings, you have to engage in some long-distance driving segments, where you have to manage your gas resources. Not very fun. All the while, the Ghostbusters music plays repeatedly and never stops for the entire game.
Look, I don't really have anything else to add to this one, apart from the fact that I didn't have any patience to play this for more than 5 minutes. Again, I only played this when I became a streamer. I don't know if there was an NES copy of this. I remember growing up, I played All New Ghostbusters 2, I think it was, on NES, which a lot of people actually liked, but I didn't. However, I might revisit that particular game, because maybe it was just my lack of skill that was the problem. I digress. With that being said, it was pretty fun to use the police car in that game. Not this one, unfortunately. Did I say police car? I meant the Ghostbusters mobile.
As a whole, this is just devoid of anything that could be considered fun.
That's the worst rendition
Number
of theme ever.
5 is Dragon's Lair. I understand what they were trying to do here. Take the original FMV Laserdisc game and turn it into a 2D platformer, while keeping the trial and error gameplay. But it simply doesn't work. Progress is too tedious. Figuring out how to get past the very first screen can take about the same amount of time it takes to beat the first level in Super Mario Bros. And since games like Super Mario Bros. Were an option at the time, I imagine many people just gave up on this game after just a few minutes.
Yeah, so my experience with this game, thankfully I didn't own it, but I think I got a $5 weekly in Australia, probably in 92, 93. And I remember I was playing this on the weekend, and there was like Roseanne episodes on TV at the time, I think in syndication. And I remember trying to play this first level over and over and over, and I couldn't get it done. And then I'd go out, take a break in frustration, watch Roseanne, and then come back and keep trying. And then I finally got to level 2, and then I think the whole weekend was spent trying to get past level 2, and I think the furthest I ever got in this game was level 3, and it was absolutely torture, clunky mess. It's a shame because the game actually looks quite nice. Big sprites, detailed backgrounds and environments and everything. It was just total ass to play. After this rental, I never tried it ever again. Apparently there's a ROM that makes this easier, ROM hack. Apparently, I'll have to have a look.
Number 4 is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Marketed as a boxing game, this one bears little resemblance to actual boxing.
Wait a fucking minute. Are you trying to tell me that this is in the top 10 worst NES games of all time? Okay, you know what? I'm being trolled right here. I know he's 100% joking. I know he's going to go psych. Okay, there's no way this is on his top 10 list. What the hell, man?
Perspective is way off. You look like a small kid compared to the other boxers. Now, hold on a second. I think I made some kind of clerical error here. This entry is supposed to be on my other video called Top 10 Greatest NES Games of All Time.
He was trolling me.
Number 4 is actually Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This might be the most hard to understand.
Oh. Please make sure you like and subscribe to Gaming the Systems. This guy is absolutely awesome. I love his channel.
In the NES library,
yeah.
You start off in your human form, walking amongst the town people who are trying to kill you. And the only weapon you have is your cane, which can only be used to kill bees. Once you're angry enough, you turn into Hyde, and you walk the same city, only this time you're walking the other direction, and you have a projectile. If you end up reaching the same spot of the city where you turned into Hyde, you die from a lightning strike, and it's game over. Whether or not the player ends up grasping the concept, it still ends up being a terrible experience for most of the people who play it.
Well, yeah, and for me, it wasn't even the clunky gameplay or the unfair bomb explosions or things like that that turned me off. It was, I never, ever, ever knew what the hell I was doing. Now, there's people in the community that know how to beat this game, but I want to know pre-internet how they figured it out, because I've still got no clue what I'm doing with critical 44-year-old thinking. If you want to call it that. That's probably a stretch, isn't it? Yeah, but this game is
Number
balls.
3 is Deadly Towers. This is a large adventure game consisting of over 1,000 screens, but you start off very, very weak and very lost and very turned off by the graphics and most likely very annoyed by the erratic enemies.
You know, gameplay-wise, it's not too bad, but I remember some jerky McJerkington jerk-off on our request show asked me to play this game. And I was really struggling, and that's not even the bit that I was offended at, but I didn't know where to go or what it was that I was supposed to do, and I'm like, hey dude, you picked this game, help me out, what am I supposed to do? He requested the damn game, and he couldn't even tell me where to go or what to do. And I'm pretty sure that, hey, you know, I might not be the brightest bulb in the box, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that couldn't figure this one out. And it's a shame, because it's like a 2.5D game, nice big sprites again, big castles and halls and things like that. I mean, it looks like the part, but it isn't the aforementioned part.
Most people probably give up on it very quickly. However, people do report that if you stick with it and find many of the upgrades to make yourself stronger, you may end up getting some enjoyment out of this game.
Yeah, not me, I'll pass.
Before we get to number 1 and 2, let's do some dishonorable mentions. These are games that barely missed being in this top 10. I'm just going to read them off in no particular order. Color a Dinosaur.
Coloring in is fun. Coloring in is fun.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Heroes of the Lance.
Yeah, apparently that one was pretty crap.
Conan.
Yeah, I tried that once, didn't like it. I almost forgot this one existed, actually, probably for a reason.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Video Game Adventure.
I thought this one might have ended up on the list. Look at that, one of these weird isometric games.
Where's Waldo?
Well, there's no replayable value with a Waldo game, is there? Once you've found him, you're just not going to know where he is every time.
Home Alone.
Yeah, this game was balls. Again, someone asked me to play this and I didn't know what I was doing.
And finally, Bad Street Brawler.
Oh, geez, I haven't played this one. It looks like ass butt. I would rather play Urban Champion.
Number 2 is The Uncanny X-Men. You choose between 6 characters. Half of them have a projectile, and half of them have a punching attack. The shooting ones are far more usable than the others, so that's a flaw. The computer controls a second player, but it plays so badly that it ends up slowing you down. So,
well, here's a thought, right? If you're gonna have a superhero game, make all the characters feel like they've got superpowers and superhuman, if not immortal strength, you know what I mean? Don't make them feel like they're going to die from a paper cut like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I mean, it's just common sense.
You end up having to let them die in order to play, so that's another flaw. When enemies are killed, they drop items, but one of the most common items is a magnet that freezes you. That's flaw number 3. I could go on, but suffice to say, pretty much every feature is a flaw, so it's no surprise that this ends up being number 2 on this list.
Oh, yeah.
Number 1.
What's number 1?
Is Action 52. A handful of people spent 3 months developing 52 games and cobbled them together in this unlicensed compilation. The result is one of the most diluted gaming experiences you'll ever have. It's a broken mess of generic space shooters, hard-to-control platformers, and various other half-baked ideas. Some of the games don't even boot up when you select them, which is embarrassing. The ones that do work are so unenjoyable, they make the other games on this list more enjoyable by comparison.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you could have all that development time going into one really good 7, 8, 9, even 10 out of 10 game, or you could use the same development time to bring out 52 games that no one ever wants to play after one try ever again. Yeah, I mean, this was definitely an example of, like, quality over quantity, wasn't it? Nothing else to say, really. I played this, it was balls.
That's all I had for you today. If you enjoyed this list, consider hitting the like button.
Alright, well, thank you for watching the video, guys. The only other one I probably would have added to the list was probably Beetlejuice. That game was absolutely balls. We don't need to talk about that one any further than that today. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next video, everybody.